Okay, so let's do introductions. I'm Jennifer McKenzie, District Teacher Librarian. We're talking about sketchnoting today, and I'm super excited about that because in my spare time, I like art. Okay. Lauren, will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Hi, y'all. I am Lauren Suveges. I'm the art teacher at the middle school, and I love sketchnoting, like a lot.
All right, thank you. Mackenzie, will you introduce yourself?
I'll go first here. So I'm Anna Moser. I am 10th grade World Studies at the high school, and yeah, I had known nothing about this.
Hey, and it's a small world. I was just co-teaching a Flipgrid lesson with Anna, and we're both, we know the Fargo, North Dakota area very well. Did not know that until we co-taught together. Okay, Tricia, go for it.
I'm Tricia Holden. I work at the high school with Terry Mason and Jennifer Lindell. I work mostly with math students in the SPED department. And I'm new to the sketchnoting, so I'm excited to learn about it.
Awesome. Julia, go for it.
Hi, I'm Julia Craig, and I work here in the library at the elementary school.
And Kelly, go for it.
Hi, I'm Kelly Dotson. I teach 6th grade language arts. I don't know much about sketchnoting, but I will take any opportunity to learn from Miss Suveges.
Awesome. Sarah, go for it.
I'm Sarah Truax. I teach health and PE at the high school, and I have no artistic bone in my body, so it's too hard for me.
You will find a way to love sketchnoting even with no artistic bone. It's okay. Melanie, go for it.
Hi, I'm Melanie. I teach English and Avid at the high school, and I'm always looking for more ways to get kids engaged in taking notes and various ways so they don't think there's only one way to take notes and to find what works for them. So
thank you. Hope.
Hi, I'm Hope Snedden, and I'm the library assistant at the high school. And I'm just here because it sounds fun and I want to learn all the things.
Thank you. Andreas.
Hello, my name is Andreas. I'm the librarian tech over at the middle school, and I like to do art in my free time, so I'm really excited to see what this is all about.
Thank you. Terry.
Hi, I'm Terry Mason. I teach up at the high school, special education for 9th through 12th, plus the 12 plus some. And I have no idea what this is, but I was excited because note-taking is something that, however I can get my kids to take notes in their classes is awesome.
Thank you for that. And Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer Lindell, high school resource and English teacher, and I love art, and so I thought maybe I would be able to learn something new I could share with my students.
Thank you. And oh, sorry, did I cut you off?
I'm glad you're recording it because I'm going to have to leave. So
yeah, we'll always record these every PD
yeah,
session.
That's awesome. So where do I find the recording?
On the EdTech Google Classroom, and I'll email you in just a second the code, and everything's there, all the slides.
Thank you. Resources. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and let's hop back up to Mackenzie.
Hi there. I'm Mackenzie Perry. I teach 6th grade science and Avid at the middle school, and I usually use digital or doodle notes when I'm in the classroom, and so I've been just trying to toy with it, and I try and get my kids doodling. They did some doodles today and they loved it, and so I just love all of the new strategies to incorporate it a little bit more. Today we drew eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells.
Very nice, very nice. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Lauren. Lauren, you also need to share with the group your ISTE expertise.
Yeah,
and talk about ISTE because that's going on right now. I was just, you know, I love, okay, silver lining of COVID. Every day I have to find a silver lining. silver lining of COVID is that we have so much access to PD, workshops, things that were always financially out of my reach, like going to ISTE. We now have access to all that stuff. So please talk about ISTE as well. And thank you for presenting today.
Of course. So can you see my screen? I just shared it. I've never taught on Zoom before. So I'm like, how am I supposed to know all the new things? But here we are. So I'll go for it. So sketch notes. I love sketch notes. I've been doing them forever. Like I keep an art journal. So if you all journal and doodle and a combo of words and images, right? And then in my master's program for teaching is the first time I heard of the word that someone came up with and subsequently, you know, makes money off of. I have no idea. That's how things happen, right? So sketch notes, it's doodling and words and associating imagery with things. So we did introductions. You will need some supplies today. I have been, Mackenzie, you were just talking about this. I have been really enjoying the fact that my students just need a pencil and a paper for this, or they can have their markers of choice, color pencils, whatever things that like they want to have and access, you can utilize them all. I've been using these paint sticks that are really cool and it fills the page with color really fast. They look like this. They're like tempera, but in a stick. So I have a bunch of extras of those. So if we ever get back hybrid, you can fill in space like real fast with those, like, and it dries really quickly. And so those have been cool. But my kids that have lined notebook paper and a pencil can still do this, right? And so Kenzie, you said about like how to get them into it because we're all digital now. I actually love it as a reprieve from the digital. Like draw something with a pencil on a paper, please. Like it doesn't have to go digital. However, my 7th graders in particular are really into tablets and their phones and these apps. So here are some samples, right? I bounce back and forth. So this is like my iPad. I love the stylus. And I'll share with you at the end, like some different programs if you have those electronics and gadgets that you can check out that are mostly free. But, you know, I really mostly prefer to do my sketchnoting pencil, paper, marker paper. That's my preferred method, but I kind of bounce back in between. So today you will need at least 2 pieces of paper and something to write with. We sort of went over it in your introductions, but on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you know? But you can hold up your hands, give me a number, type it in the chat, tell me out loud, whatever you want to do. What are sketch notes? I can barely draw a line. I'm not an artist. Help. Thank you, Anna. 2, 3, 4, 5. I've heard of sketch notes. I want to mix it up, right? I'm here for some tips. 10. Jennifer, I think you're a 10. I brought all my Flair pens, right? I am here for this, okay? So we're all sort of over the place. So I like it. See, she's ready. I love it. Thank you. I want to open the chat so I can see if you guys tell me anything over there. Thank you, Kelly and Terry. Okay, we're sort of like, yeah, mid to lower range. Also, nobody can draw a straight line, right? That's very hard to do. We have rulers and things for that kind of stuff. So this was like my little intro and I went crazy. I went a little, so my partner, I was working on it and he kept looking, he's like, are you still working on that? And I did want to share this with you. This is like my sketch notes of my life's journey, basically. And I thought, oh, I'll do a little intro slide. I know some of you, but I've only been here for, you know, a little over 2 years. And I feel like, you know, teaching, while it involves so many people, it also is like very isolating sometimes, right? You're always in your classroom. It's hard to collaborate with other people. And so I don't feel like I know people that well. So I was like kind of putting this together to introduce myself and then it just went like bananas and I'm not going to spend much time on it. But I did decide I wanted to share it with you because it did 2 things for me. One, it was fun and I got really into it, and I kind of lost track of time for a while, which is like a great feeling, you know, when you have that zone, the flow. And two, it like really helped remind me why I want to do this job, because it's hard right now, right, to teach. And so doing this sort of like, what have I done? Where have I been? How did I get here kind of a thing? It reminded me of like why I went into education in the first place. It reminded me of like students that I've had that inspired me, of teachers, of mentors that I've had. And so it ended up being sort of this like, okay, like I can stick this out, right? I can make this new and creative for my students. And it also was just like a big like aha, like, okay, like I sort of remember why I got here and I doing what I want to do. And so this is sort of like my little journey out to the West Coast. Here we are. My favorite, I will just call to attention one thing for you. You can see the computers here with the no. I literally left my jobs that focused on the computer, ISTE being one of them, after getting my master's degree in arts admin because I hated sitting at a computer in that life. And then the last thing I'll point out in the same vein, I forgot the 0 in 2020, and then I said, should I change it? And I thought, no, it just feels more appropriate. So this is my journey 2020. And those of you that don't know, I've only been teaching like formally for 3 years, but I've worked in education since I was 18, which is 20 years now. And I don't know when any of that happened, but I've worked with Pittsburgh Public Schools, Columbus City Schools, Chicago Public Schools, and then now out here in Oregon. So I've done a lot of different stuff with schools, but teaching formally only in my like third year, excuse me. So I went a little crazy, but if this inspires you, after our session today, I give you a little challenge to do a sketch note or doodle of your journey. And it really did help me to kind of remind myself. So we're gonna get drawing. So have your stuff with you. And sketch notes is all about connecting words and concepts with images. So for this little like warm-up activity, and you could totally do this with your students, some of them will struggle like everything else, some of them will find it easy, but I'm gonna say a word to you and have like 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, we'll see how it goes, to kind of just draw something that reminds you of that word, right? So you're putting symbol to word, okay? And we do this all the time. We've done it since Egyptian times. We do it on this device with emojis, right? Like we're super good at assigning symbol to word. So it's not, don't overthink it, I guess is what I'm gonna say. So I'm just gonna start a timer so I can kind of keep track, but it's not like a formal thing. So as long as you got a pen, a pencil, paper, whatever you want, I'm just gonna say a word, 20 to 30 seconds. And then if you feel comfortable, no pressure, you can share what you did, okay? So, okay, here's your first word. First thing that comes to mind, symbol. How would you say this? Something is important. How can you show important? If you think of more than one symbol, go for it. How can we show important? All right, take a couple more seconds and then let's see it. When you're done, hold it up if you're feeling brave. How did you show important? Nice, Ken's star. Me and Melanie did the same thing. Oops, I'm upside down. Ooh, look at you fancy down there with a highlighter, Mrs. Dotson. Sarah, I love how yours points towards the center, right? So not only are you like arrowing and like a spiral, like that looks important, it's like really important. Nice, Trisha. Yes, so same thing kind of. And Jen is like, important. I get the feeling. All right, I didn't get everybody, but they're looking good. Okay, next word, next challenge. Connecting. How do you show something connecting? You can do multiples. And this one, I'd give them a little longer, you know, read your room if you're doing this with your students. If they're online, I don't know, give them a time. All right, hold up. Anna, nice. Yes, I totally know what you mean. This one connects to this one, connects to this one, connects to this one. I got it. Ooh, Trisha, I like that chain. That's cool. We got the Venn diagram, some arrows. A belt? Julia, is that a belt? I love it. Okay. Sarah, I love that one. Like the love in the middle. So cute. Okay, if I miss you, I'm trying to see everybody, so don't be shy. Yes, love to the reading. Yes, we got a lot of arrows. Great. I really terribly tried to draw a puzzle, and then I was like, my brain cannot present and draw a puzzle at the same time. That's a good one. Okay, let's do two more. How do you show thinking or thought process? So thinking. And when you got something, hold it on up. I'd love to see it. Anna. Yes, Anna. The brain explosion. Yep, thought bubbles. I'm right there with you. Absolutely. Oh, the light bulb slash almost like a. Yep, we got it. We got it. Ken's. Yes, straight off the light beam of knowledge. I love it. Miss Dotson, good brain. Oh my God, these are great. Thank you, Julia. Okay, so you want one more? Okay, I'm seeing some yeses, so I'm going with it. Let's see, last one. Thinking, important. Happy. Anna lies about the artistic ability. Okay, yes, so sweet. They're all so different. Yes, cats, I'm with you. If you don't see, there's always a cat. So my kids, I always have a cat in my PowerPoint presentations, and if they catch my presentation without a cat, they get best tickets or like whatever it is. So I love it. So things that make us happy, the symbol of happy, right? So that would be something that you could easily do with your students, and you could tailor it to vocab that you are doing in a lesson, or make it more generalized if you're trying to sort of do the concept of sketchnoting. So that was just a little good warm-up activity to get us drawing. If you want to sketch note the session today, this is sort of how I would suggest maybe starting. In the middle, you'll see the topic area, right? And then there are, what are sketch notes? Why should we use them? How can we use them? And then other, right? I'm going to give you some resources, some ideas, So I have the sketch notes in the middle and then kind of 4 spaces for these 4 topics. Does yours have to look like mine? No. At the end of the day, right, our sketch notes shouldn't really look like each other's, but when my students, I'm getting started with them, I will often say like, okay, these, if you want to follow my lead, you can, but try to kind of make them your own. So for this, it's mostly like, what's your main idea? And then how many sort of areas of information are you going to be talking about? That's how I set up this one. So I'm going to play this. I play this for my students. So okay, so I have a little experiment going on. I try to make sketch notes seem like the coolest thing on the planet to my 6th graders. And they're a group, my 6th grade teachers out there, they're a group that like can get into stuff, right? They're into it. So we're gonna see if they still think they're cool by 8th grade. Probably not, but I'm experimenting. So sketch notes are the most amazing thing ever to 6th graders right now. It's so far it is working. By the time they get to 8th grade. So I do literally show them this. I slow it down because it's a smidge fast. So I'm gonna put it at 0.75. So let's take a look. Here. Okay. How do I get out of this here? So sketch notes, there was a lot of information in that video, so you can always kind of go back and look at it later. How do I get out of this? I don't want in here anymore. There we go. So what are sketch notes, right? They're combining visual with word and text, and where's my Sarah? Kinesthetic, right? So you know movement helps you learn. So when you are combining all of these things, right, it's much more likely to be embedded into the memory. I'm an artist, so I'm a visual person. Does anybody else, like, when you try to remember something, do you see the thing or the page or the thing like in your head, right? So if you think and recall memory that way, and you have made these notes that are unique in different ways with color and shape and symbol, it's a lot easier to recall that information than just thinking about words on a page. Here, I gave, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you, I found the best resources for y'all. This is just sort of like the bits and pieces of sketch notes. So what sort of like the building blocks of them, lettering, how do you change it, bullet points, so making lists. you know, traditional note-taking is a part of Sketchnotes. It's not like you abandon that, but it's just done in a bit of a different way. Yeah, like I can't find it, but the class that I learned how to do Sketchnotes in, I remember what my Sketchnotes look like from it. Frames, so that's what we did to set up our page, is like different frames, right? So thought bubbles or call outs or banners or whatever. Connectors, so that was one of your challenge words. How do you show that an idea connects to another idea? That's what we want them to learn, right? Is like, how does something connect to something else? So you're literally have them take what they've written and physically connect it to the next idea. Shadows, that's kind of like, I think it's the fun stuff. It's like you go back into your notes and add ways for it to pop out or add color. And then people are the hardest. I'm virtually teaching portrait drawing right now. Have mercy on me, please. It has been interesting, but fun. So there's just some sort of like bits and pieces. What makes up Sketchnotes? And then the why. The video talks about this as well, but I just thought that this was a great Sketchnote example of all of the different ways that Sketchnotes help our students learn, recall info, make connections, organize things, memory, engagement. Like I said, I'll check back with you in a few years to see if my 6th graders are still into it. I'm gonna move on for the sake of time, but you have all of the things, right? And then the how to use it. So for my kiddos, I use it in a lot of different ways. I share my Sketchnotes with them. So I did a survey of my classes, like what's working for y'all, right? If they all say, I hate Pear Deck, I'm not gonna do Pear Deck anymore, right? My one kid gave me the best idea ever. They're like, can you please make Padlets due on Monday so I can work on it over the weekend? Like, oh, duh. Like, of course that makes sense, right? But so these were kind of just some results from a survey I did with them. So I use it to share my own information with them. This was done on an iPad app called Paper. It's free and has, of course, things to purchase because that's how it works. But the free version is pretty cool. Class themes. So my class runs on a couple themes. The 6th grade is how do we wander and how do we wander. So I'm trying to connect it to what they're reading, social studies because they're doing like world geography. You can see, right, we have my book, yay, Miss Dotson, and you know, the shape of Augie's silhouette there. So this was like a brainstorm I did with them. So I had this under my doc cam and I was like, y'all, what are ways, images, things that we do this stuff, right? And so they would just say it out and I would draw it and then they did their own. So I think this is a great way to kick off a unit, right? So are you starting something new and you want to get engagement from them? This is Sketchnotes can be used to kind of, it's a mind map. It's a mind map, right? With some color and some drawings. Pro tip, okay, in the classroom, when I'm doing Sketchnotes with my kids, I can do them really fast, but I've been doing this a long time, right? They're not as fast. So what I've done in the past is I have printouts and it's just typed bulleted list. This is what I want to see in your Sketchnotes by the end of class. Do it in a unique, creative, fun, your own way, but at the end of the day, I need these words there somehow, right? Online's a little bit different. So what I've taken to doing is I want to move forward, right? But my kids haven't yet gotten all of the information. So I just got in the habit of sharing images, but keeping the text the same. So I can move on. We can talk about something else, but the kids can always have access to the words that I want them to be including in their Sketchnotes. So this, you know, you try something, it totally fails because I can't move on to the artwork because the words are on the last slide and it's like, put the same words on the slides, you know? So just something that I've learned. And this artist I love, so I figured I'd share him with you. So here are some of my student examples, so you can just see a little bit of their work in practice. These are all 7th graders. So for my weekly assignments, I allow them to upload pictures of their sketch notes as their thing to turn in. So my job is not to stress them out with art class right now. That's how I feel. So if they don't have time to make independent work, or they're struggling on something, I give them the option of uploading their sketch notes. So a few of my students have taken that option to get their weekly grade, right? So you can just see the variety. This one here is one of my students that always uses his iPad for it. So some of them use digital versus pencil and paper. I stole this from Mackenzie. So, Cornell notes, right? Avid strategies. These two things are not separate, right? They can live together. So I never want it to be like, I do my very best to tell my kids, like, I'm not saying that the way your teachers teach you to take notes is wrong or this is right. There's just different ways, right? And so one of the things where sketch notes and Cornell notes and Avid strategies really connect is this thinking about them, right? So if you want to introduce your typical strategies that you normally do, then you go and add that layer when you revisit them, right? So not only are you revising your notes and going back through them to process, now you're adding this like extra layer of image. So it's helping them to revisit information and really like setting into their minds, hopefully, what you're trying to connect them with. And then this one here, I found this educator, Doug Neal. He's out of PDX, and here is the link for his work on Sketchnotes. It's a really great site. But this was like literally connecting the Cornell plus Sketchnotes formula or setup, and I really liked that diagram. So I put it in there for y'all. And then this little pop-out bubbles because I didn't want to forget. So Sketchnotes is awesome for differentiation, right? If your students are struggling with physically writing, with spelling, with language, but they can assign an image, right? That's one very quick way to differentiate for each of your students. The other thing, which I'll show you in just a minute here, are these amazing resources that I found for you. So at the end of the PowerPoint presentation, I have, and I'll show you something super special in just a second. But when we're in the physical classroom, again, if your students are struggling with drawing, like their motor skills are not there, I literally make extra copies, right, of my icons, of the word bubbles and all that stuff. They can cut them and paste them. You can cut them, chunk them out, and they can paste them. So it's an easy way to, and like the text, right, print out extra copies of your notes, have them cut it out. I know Mackenzie does that a lot with her interactive notebooks. So it's just, kind of the idea of the interactive notebook. Okay, that one, differentiation, I didn't want to forget that. And then here are some of the resources. There's like entirely too much stuff about Sketchnotes on the internet. It's very overwhelming. So here are some of my favorites and who I follow. Kathy Schrock, she's really big in ISTE. ISTE, Jen uses their resources a lot. It's the International Society for Technology and Education. I worked for them for a year, and I managed like learning communities of teachers like across the country, but they met like virtually, and we did a lot of webinars and stuff. And then now I help with their conferences. So there's a conference every year. It's like 25,000 educators go to it. I run the info booth. it's an interesting 7 days. But it's so much information. It's kind of overwhelming, but they're a great resource. And you know, like when you leave a job, or maybe you haven't in a long time, but you're like, there's reasons why I left. ISTE's one of those companies and organizations that I still like sing their praises. I really love them and I believe in what they do. So if you haven't checked out ISTE's stuff, all of these folks, Sylvia Duckworth, she's one of my favorites. She's presenting at ISTE conference that's going on right now virtually this week. So all of these awesome stuff. Nina Jackson, she is an amazing educator. She has a fabulous British accent, so she sounds really cool when she says sketchadoodle. But these are great folks to follow or check out their resources. These are my favorite Sketchnote apps. So if you have a tablet or an iPad, check some of those out. They're pretty intuitive and easy to use. My students particularly use Procreate a lot. And then this Ibis Paint X is they do all their anime stuff on it, but you can do other things on it, but it's like the anime kind of style. And then Andreas, are you still there? Do you know they have Illustrator for iPad now? I was so waiting for that to happen. So it finally happened. I'm very
I did not know they had that.
They kept saying it's going to come out, it's going to come out, it's going to come out. So it finally is out and I'm really, really hyped about it because I'm not going to buy a $3,000 MacBook Pro, right? So one thing I want to show you, and then if you have any questions, please let me know. So at the end of the slides here, these are all clickable and individual, and you can copy them. So I found this on, has anyone ever used slidesgo.com? So I'm like, was looking for like printouts, I couldn't find anything, and I found this one, and they're so awesome. So Kenzie, you're doing a unit on body systems. You can click, I think that's the liver, copy it, paste it into a new slide, right? You can make them bigger, smaller, so you can customize your handouts for your sketch notes. So that is, I found these and I was like super excited. So say you want to do sketch notes and you want to help your kids with the idea of thinking, right? I'm having this thought, right? Print them out a bunch of brains, you know? There's like literally everything on here. Business icons, people, right? You want to show the image of like people working together, collaborating, and you don't want to draw people, Anna. Here's your little groups of people, right? So these are different ways. Yeah, there you go. Oh, thank you, Anna. Good pro tip there, I'll take it. Yeah, these were awesome. Animals, nature, business marketing, but also just all kinds of cool stuff, thought gears, etc. So yeah, that is my spiel on sketch notes. I love them, and I love using them with my students. And also my mornings, I love my 6th grade teachers. Love you all, but they're somewhat flexible. So if you ever want me to, right now, when we're not in person, I would always be happy to come co-teach with you if you want to introduce sketch notes, but you need like an artistic cheerleader in your room with you, I will be that person. I would love to do that. So my mornings are kind of free-ish as long as I check with my team. But yeah, anyways, that's sketch notes, and I will, yep, share this with you, and then I'll make a copy so no one can change my things. Thank you, Anna. And yeah, any questions, anything, like we have like a minute left, anything we're like, oh yeah, I want to try this with, did something come to mind for you?
I'm doing my Sell as like a City project right before winter break, and I'm super looking forward to offering this as an option for kids that want to do it on paper instead of digitally. So I was also looking forward to like converting the whole thing from being an on paper thing to a digital thing, but I think it'll also be great for them to be able to sort of go the other direction as well, because I've always done it on paper.
Yeah, cool, I love it. Anybody else have one of those like, oh, I'll try it with this?
Can this work with Jamboard?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely. Okay. Yeah, I did. One of the folks that I was looking at some of their work, she's presenting at the ISTE conference that's happening this week online. She did what I did with you, except for they put their responses onto Jamboard things so you could see it.
Hey, I wonder, does everyone know how to use Jamboard, and should we do Jamboard in the future?
We
Would
should
that
do a
be a good
Jamboard.
idea? Is Jamboard a session? Or maybe if we do sketchnoting/Jamboard together.
I had never opened it. It was so easy to figure out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
you're good.
you could easily do it something else. Sorry, Andrea.
Yeah. Oh no, it was great. Yes, Mrs. Dotson, I'm here for you.
Hey,
I didn't realize how much I already was doing some of this stuff until I started taking notes and was like, oh yeah, I have arrows all over my page, like colors and dots and connect this. And I always say, no one will understand them but me. But that's the only person that needs to understand them. So I really love this.
Yeah,
and
it's really
incorporating
intuitive. It is kind of intuitive and you sort of just go with it. And yeah, we all kind of develop a sort of note-taking style that does incorporate these things. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so far, this is my favorite session of all the sessions because we got to touch and play with the art supplies. And I tried to sketchnote. I'm not super sketchnotey, but that was my sketchnote of sketchnoting. And the last thing I wanted to say was, oh, before we conclude, we can still take some questions. I just want to remind people of upcoming things from the library. I'll wait, I'll hold off on that. Does anyone have any other final comments or questions? This was so fabulous. This is what my heart needed at the end of the day.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
So you're going to be sending those to us or sharing them with us?
Yeah, it's
the
posted
notes?
in the EdTech classroom, right, Jim?
Yep, the EdTech Google Classroom, the code for that is SA7NEC4 in the email that I sent out. And we're housing, I'll put the video in there, all of Lauren's resources. Every single session, we just put all of our resources there. And speaking of which, we have for the month of December, next week, Tuesday, we're going to do games. So again, Kahoot, Quizlet, Gimkit, whatever other small, easy, fun, engaging games. We're gonna go over that next Tuesday. And then on the following Tuesday, before winter break on the 15th, we're gonna talk about maker spaces. So maker spaces, you all probably know, but they're just creative places to explore, create. Our library team just worked with the entire 5th grade at the elementary school. I'm trying to find one of my little kits, and of course one's not handy when I need it. Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay, so we worked with the entire 5th grade team to do a holiday reindeer makerspace card with paper circuitry. Okay, so if you want to do the makerspace kit on the, what day did I say it was? The 15th, let me know in advance and I'll send you this supply, okay? And I might throw in a little journal supply too. And then Allison French is one of the co-founders of the Talent Maker City down in Southern Oregon. She is a rock star. And so she's going to join us for like 15 minutes or so to just share what a professional institutionalized makerspace looks like. And then we'll talk about how a makerspace can be a cart in the corner of your room, or it can be a full-blown setup facility, and like why do people do makerspace activities? So anyway, those are our upcoming PD sessions, and we would love to have you join us again. So any other final comments or questions or anything for Lauren? All right, can we give her a virtual like round of applause, or you can unmute and be like, that was so awesome. Okay, I'm gonna stop my recording.